job, by the way. We all heard about you did a good job. Stock up those points. Some things speak for themselves. At the All-Star game, pre-game stuff last night, there was the slam dunk contest. And when they introduced the judges, the 5 judges, all they had to do was say their names. And anyone who followed basketball for any period of time knew what those judges represented. Some things speak for themselves. Somebody is hurt, somebody's sad, and one of you goes and puts your arms around them, or says, brother, sister, can I pray for you? Or looks him in the eye and says, everything is going to be all right. Some things speak for themselves. In this 11th chapter of Hebrews, it is what we lovingly refer to as God's all-star team. The all-star team of faith. If you follow the journeys of these names listed here, they did some really amazing things. Which brings us to today. My friends and I go back and forth on this, and sometimes it's true that when we're before you, it can feel like you really are waiting for the ending. You just go through the beginning to get to the ending. And that's okay. That's part of what makes the African American church the African American church. You want that close. You go through the beginning to get to the close. And so I'm going to begin with the ending. Because some things speak for themselves. And with all that's going on and these different experiences of leaders past and present popping up like popcorn, depending on the cause, I think it's important to let faith speak for itself. I believe the time has come to let faith speak for itself. If we really want to honor where we have come from, we need to let the same faith that carried us over troubled waters reach out and take hold of this new generation to carry them through. If only faith could speak for itself. I think it's altogether possible that we arrive at a point in our lives where we become those old people sitting on a rocking chair, and nothing and no one is as good or as hard as it was when we were kids.
Amen, amen.
We reach that point in our lives where everything that was best is behind us, and everything coming along is somehow less than that. And as I watched those young people yesterday on that court, it occurred to me, I can't hold on to the Lakers of my past.
Amen. Amen.
Now that sounds funny, right? But it's true.
Amen.
I have enjoyed a championship team for most of my life. And to look at them now, and so it does me no good to sit there waiting on Magic Johnson to come out of that locker room. He's not coming. James Worthy's not coming. Kareem is not coming. Norm Nixon is not coming. They're not, the 80s Lakers are not going to suddenly run out onto the basketball court now. And no matter how I might feel about them, then I have one of two options. I either keep holding on to them or try to grab hold of some of these new cats coming out now to enjoy the game as it is.
Amen.
Musically. Oh my God. I am doing the best I can. I mean it. I'm doing the best I can to try to grab hold to some of these people now without comparing them to the music that I came from. Deacon Zuda would tell you we've had our moments with this. I can honestly say, without reservation, that there is no point trying to compare today's singers to yesterday's singers. There's no point in it. There's just no point in it. So what I try to do is open myself up to what they're doing now to the best of their ability. Otherwise, all of my music is going to be old music. Some things speak for themselves. I don't have to hold up those people now and compare them. You get old. Compare them to her people now. I don't have to do that. They speak for themselves. If I say Temptations, boom, it speaks for itself. Stevie Wonder, boom, speaks for itself. Earth, Wind, and Fire, boom, speaks for itself. I don't have to say anything. It speaks for itself.
Amen.
But if that's all that I listen to, then I don't hear what's being said now. And I miss Sister Nin's guy, Bruno Mars, as the new time. He's the new time. I heard his little song, and for those of you not familiar with the time, it's just the time, but it's a time in a new package.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not looking for Morris Day and Jerome to shimmy back out. I don't want to see them shimmying at this point in their lives. I don't want to see, some things just speak for themselves. But if all we do is listen to it in the past, then we miss what's being said in the present. Gotta hear and gotta see and gotta experience what's going on now, because something is being said now.
Yes.
Some things are being done now.
Yes, sir.
Some things, and if you just say, I'm going to ignore that and nothing was like what it was, guess where you're going to be? You become that.
Amen.
You become that. You've often heard me say, well, maybe you haven't, but I'll let you know, I have no interest whatsoever, zero, in being old. None. But my goal is to live a long and healthy life. Does that make sense to you? I have no interest in being old. I just don't. But to live a long and healthy life, I watched my father live a long and healthy life. And he didn't get old until some really bad things happened to him. But up until then, he was smooth as silk. He was still cool as the other side of the pillow. He still enjoyed life. I don't apologize for not wanting to sit around and think about all the things that used to be. I want to live a long, healthy, amazing life. And so when I talk about faith, I'm simply saying that faith can't simply be something that happened in the past. And if faith could speak for itself, it would say, I'm right here and I'm right now. If faith could speak for itself. If faith could speak, it would tell us that every now and then life is going to get hard. If faith could speak, it would remind us that sometimes the road is going to get a little rough. But if we just hold to God's unchanging hand, the Lord will see us through. If faith could speak, it would tell us that weeping may endure for a night, but joy is going to come in the morning. There are a lot of voices that try to speak into our spirits, past and present, but we need to learn how to slow down. Look up, trust in God, and hear his voice. Because if faith could speak, it would tell us that the race is not always given to the swift nor to the strong, but to those who hold on to the end. If faith could speak, it would tell us that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They will mount up on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and shall not faint. If faith could speak, it would remind us that the same God that delivered Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be a deliverer for you and for me. There's a whole lot of people trying to draw our attention and move our money in their direction, and sometimes we get tempted and we give in to people who give nothing back to us. Sometimes we get a little weak or a little desperate and we give ourselves over to people who mean us no good. But if faith could speak, it would encourage us and remind us that we are more than conquerors through Christ who strengthens us. If faith could speak, it would remind us that if God is for us, who can be against us? If faith could speak, it would tell us how 9 domestic workers pooled their humble resources to form a house of worship called First Baptist Church Greenwich, where they could rest, rejoice, and recover their strength to go to work, raise somebody else's babies, clean somebody else's floors, then come home at night to raise their families and clean their floors and fight the enemy and win against unimaginable odds. There are those who say that if we do not learn from our history, then we are doomed to repeat it. If history is going to repeat itself, let this be our history. Let our history articulate the struggle of a people yearning to be free. Let our history demonstrate the power of God to do extraordinary things in the lives of ordinary human beings. And if we do this, if we let faith speak for us, if we give faith a voice today and tell the story of how he brought us through, then maybe, just maybe, there is hope for this generation that is to come. It's time to let them raise their voice. Time to sing their songs. Time to create their stories. It doesn't mean that ours don't matter anymore. It just means that ours speak for themselves. It's time to hear what they're trying to say. Trying to offer them assistance in what they're trying to do. Time to get off the rocking chair and know that you are still vital